So the smartphone space is about to get really interesting because new leaks are giving us an early look at Apple's plans for the iPhone 18 series and, more importantly, Apple's first ever foldable iPhone. And if these leaks are accurate, Apple is preparing one of its biggest design shifts in years. Let's start with the iPhone 18 Pro and 18 Pro Max. According to industry sources, Apple will stick to roughly the same display sizes as before, with the Pro model around 6.3 inches and the Pro Max close to 6.9 inches. So don't expect a size revolution here. But where things get exciting is what's happening under the hood and on the front design. Both Pro models are expected to run on Apple's next generation A20 Pro chip, which is said to be built on a cutting-edge 2nm process. In simple terms, this should mean better performance and better battery efficiency at the same time. On top of that, Apple may finally bump the RAM up to 12 GB, which would help with heavy multitasking, gaming, and future AI-based features. Now, let's talk about cameras, because that's always a big deal with Pro iPhones. The leaks suggest that Apple could go all in with 48-megapixel sensors across the entire rear camera setup. That means the main camera, ultra-wide, and even the telephoto lens could all be 48 megapixels. The Pro models are also expected to keep the periscope zoom, so long-range photography should get another boost, especially for the Pro Max. Design-wise, there are strong hints that Apple is slowly moving away from the current dynamic island approach. While it may not disappear completely on the Pro models just yet, Face ID sensors could be pushed further under the display, making the front look cleaner and more minimal over time. Now let's shift to the most exciting part of these leaks, the iPhone Fold. Yes, Apple's foldable iPhone is finally starting to feel real. The foldable is expected to feature a large inner display of around 7.8 inches when unfolded, almost tablet-like, along with a smaller outer display of about 5.3 inches for regular phone use. Here's where Apple does something very un-Apple-like. The foldable iPhone is rumored to completely skip Face ID. Instead, Apple may bring back Touch ID, likely built into the power button. This makes sense because fitting Face ID components into a foldable design is much more complicated, and Touch ID is simpler and more reliable in this form factor. When it comes to cameras on the foldable, expectations are a bit more balanced. The iPhone Fold is set to feature two 48-megapixel rear cameras, a main sensor, and an ultra-wide. There's no periscope zoom here, probably due to space limitations around the hinge. On the front side, both the outer screen and the inner screen could get their own 18-megapixel selfie cameras instead of a single high-resolution sensor. Another interesting detail is that Apple seems to be prioritizing a clean, uninterrupted display experience on the foldable. Reports suggest there will be no dynamic island or major cutouts, especially on the inner screen, which could make content consumption and multitasking feel more immersive compared to current foldables. As for the launch timeline, the Pro models are expected to arrive in September 2026 as usual, while the foldable iPhone could launch alongside them or shortly after. Some reports even suggest Apple might stagger releases, keeping standard iPhone models for a later cycle. Overall, this leak paints a picture of Apple entering a new phase. The iPhone 18 Pro lineup looks like a refined power upgrade, while the iPhone Fold feels like Apple finally stepping into the future of smartphone design, but in its own cautious, polished way. Of course, none of this is officially confirmed yet, but if even half of these leaks turn out to be true, 2026 could be one of the most exciting years for iPhone fans in a long time. That being said, that's it for this video. Everything about the upcoming Apple devices. Hit the subscribe button for more videos like this, and as always,